G'day family and welcome to Sweetie's Creek Farm. We're just topping up the soil with compost in our high tunnel. Last year we planted our tomatoes here and we are going to do it again this year. Now normally I wouldn't, but we just don't have another high tunnel set up yet for these to rotate. We're going to top with the compost. We're going to put the watering system back and then I'm going to mulch and then I'm going to plant the tomatoes. And another thing I'm going to do before they get too big, I'm actually going to run the supports down to the base of the plant. Last time I was too late and they'd already started falling over and I struggled to actually get the clips on. The clips were fantastic. We've still basically got all the ones we had from last year are in perfect condition. So thumbs up to Active Vista. I believe they're in Tasmania. I'll link down here. The clips were fantastic and we'll be just reusing those again and yeah, we'll see how they go. We've got a few plants that self-seeded over at our old beds. Now I haven't had any tomatoes in there for 2 years and I had a whole heap pop up. It's quite funny because tomatoes that are actually self-seeding are doing way better than my seedlings. So I'm going to dedicate a bed to the unknown and we'll see what they are when they come up, but we have no idea what they are at the moment. And then I've got some seedlings that I had to purchase and I'll get those in as well. I've purchased some tomato seedlings from our local nursery. The majority of these are aroma tomato for our sauce, and as you can see they're fairly healthy plants, so I'm going to get those in the ground. As I did say, I'm trying to get everything to grow from seed, but I wanted to get these because my seedlings aren't doing as well, as you can see. So I just wanted to get some tomatoes in and get them going while I wait for mine to catch up. These are an Amish paste and yeah, they're not doing all that great. So what I might do with my seedlings is, well, start some more. I might actually take these inside and put them in a front of a window because I think they're getting enough sun, but it's just too cold. It's as you can see, there's no sun here today and it's spring, so I'm going to do that, but I'll get these started. So I've got some saucing tomatoes. I've also got some other ones, and one called an Apollo, so they're a slicing tomato. So first of all I'm going to start the aromas here and see how it goes. I'm just going to lay them out. I think last year I planted them a bit close, so this time I'm going to space them out a bit. I'm just going to take off these bottom leaves and plant it deeper. So I've planted all the tomatoes and I've put these along a wire. You may be wondering what these are. They're the springs to a trampoline. Actually made this whole high tunnel out of recycled trampolines, and we've used every single bit of the trampoline, including these. And what I do with these is I just run on the string down, and these clips here, called tomato clips, they wrap around the string and they hold on. So that's the support for the tomatoes. So as the tomatoes grow, I put more and more of these on. So I'm not going to wrap these just yet. The plants are just slightly too small, but at least I've got the strings there, so I'm ready for when they're big enough. So we'll keep going on this bed now. As you can see, I'm in the tomato patch, and it is the end of our season almost. As you can see, there's still a lot of fruit left on these, but the blight has got them. They're done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick them all, whether they're green or fully ripe. With the green ones, I'll make some green tomato relish, and with the ripe ones, I'll just make a straight tomato relish or some sauce, pasta, sauce. I'm not exactly sure. So now I'm just going to get started on picking some of these tomatoes. So far I've got about 60 kilos. This year wasn't as good as last year, only because I didn't plant as many and I haven't had as much time. So I did what I could handle, and yeah, I'll get these picked. You can see up the back here, I've actually taken the strings down on a lot of these, but some of these still have the strings up. So I'll take those down as well and get ready for next season. Okay, it's the next day. I actually ran out of daylight last night, and as you can see, I've picked the majority of the ripe ones from these plants here. I've still got the cherry tomatoes down the end to do. I've brought my wheelbarrow over, and what I'm going to do is pull out these plants, take out all the clips, and just get these beds free from the plants and weeds. And then I will top up with some aged manure from the cows and also the chickens, and just get these beds ready for the autumn plants, or fall, wherever you're from. Yeah, so there's a little bit of work to do here just to get these back into shape and clean it all up. And I've got my wheelbarrow here, and I'll be putting the plants into the wheelbarrow and putting them on the compost. Obviously, I'm not going to feed them to the chickens. You might see there's tomatoes everywhere. Once I've cleaned out the plants, I'll just let the chickens in here to give a bit of a scratch and eat the tomatoes. Obviously, the plant being a nightshade, I don't want the chickens to eat the actual plant, but eating the tomatoes they love. So I've got a few other beds over here I've got to clean out as well. So basically, it's a full clean out of everything here. Except for the chilies over there, which are still going. So I'm going to get stuck into this and get these plants out of the ground and ready for the next lot to go in. Got my little bucket here just to put the clips in. I've used these clips for the last 2 years, and I've got a video here where I'll show you how I did it. They're fantastic. They look exactly the same as they did 2 years ago when I bought them. They're a great product, and yeah, they've been used for 2 seasons, and they're right to use for a few more seasons. So let's get stuck into it. The good thing about these clips is they come out really easy too. So none of them should go into the compost. You can tell if I've missed any by the fact that I wouldn't be able to pull the strings out. So get rid of some of these tomatoes over there for the chickens. And there you have it. As you can see, I'm almost done. I do have a few plants along here that I'm going to keep. They went in really, really late and they're just starting to fruit. I do have some weeds here, as you can see in these garden beds. Last year I used black plastic on these garden beds and I hated it because I couldn't tell how much water was actually going onto the beds, and I'd have to take the plastic up and see. As a result of that, I got a lot of blossom end rot. As you can see, there's heaps and heaps of these little cherry tomatoes. These self-seeded everywhere, but as you can see, there is so many of them. So I've just got to pick those ones and then I'm done. And over there as well. Well, I've come back inside because it's really hot out there. It's about 33 degrees. No idea what that is in Fahrenheit. I'll put it somewhere here. As you can see, I actually thought I'd picked all of the tomatoes off the plants, but not anywhere close. These ones here are the little cherry tomatoes that I just showed you, and these ones here. So I've still got a heap of these to go. I managed to get some really good green tomatoes. There's quite a few at the bottom of there, quite a few in here. So I can make some green tomato pickles. There's a lot of the red ones here as well, the Roma. As you can see in the background, I've been making some sauce, and I've been making pasta sauce and passata, and I did actually find in the garden some spaghetti squash. I had no idea I planted them, and also a couple of potato plants coming up. I've got the pumpkins out there. I've done all the garlic, all the onions, so for the summer season that is it. Now I have to plan what I'm going to do for the autumn growing. As I said before, the tomatoes have done really, really well. These are the small Roma ones. I hardly got any blossom end rot, and last year I had so much. And I think that was partly due to the fact that I have the bore now, so I was able to water it a lot more consistently. So it never dried out, so that was really good. So that's been well worth the investment. I still don't have the D-cell plant on that. That's something that I'm going to have to look at in the future. Maybe, we'll see, but obviously the tomatoes have enjoyed it. There's quite a few of the paste tomatoes, the Amish paste, and the beefsteak tomatoes. So these ones here self-seeded. These are the yellow pear. I planted the Romas, I planted the Amish paste and the San Marzano, which I said I wouldn't do again. They did really, really well this year, so maybe it was the watering. I also planted a new one which was called Apollo, and they're little round ones, and I don't have any here because I picked them all, but they were fantastic. They were really, really good, so I'll be planting that one again. So now the fun begins to preserve all of these. I have been doing them in our Fowler's jars as well, so you can see here I've just been canning a lot of the straight tomatoes in here. I'm not freezing any this year at all, mainly because my freezer broke and I haven't replaced it. So I've just been doing this. This is a Fowler's method in Australia. I think in other parts of the world it's water bathing, but this is actually a different process. It's not water bathing. The Fowler's method in Australia is not the same as a water bath. If you'd like to actually see how this is done, just drop a comment there. It's a slow process, so the tomatoes look exactly the same as they were when they were picked here. They don't cook, so if you'd like to see how we do that, just drop a comment and say yes please. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I didn't get as many as I did last year, but I didn't plant as many plants, and they suffered from neglect with everything that's been going on. It was something that I just put them in and then hope for the best and check to see whether they needed water. I didn't prune them this year. I may try that next year. I mulched them. I didn't put the black plastic down, which I found really irritating. And so yeah, they've done really, really well. I think so far I've done about 80 kilos of tomatoes, so I'm happy with that. And as you can see, there's still more out there, so, but they're these little teeny tiny ones, which are so good. Anyway, hope you've liked the video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment What tomatoes are you planting in other areas of the world, because this season in Australia is pretty much over? So what are you going to actually be planting in your season coming up? Well, that's it from the kitchen and the garden, and we'll see you on the next one.